Hey everyone, it's Matt from Watch Advice, and we are here today with Hublot CEO Ricardo Guadalupe. Nice to meet you, finally
Nice to
in
meet
person.
you.
Heard a lot about you, and we're excited to actually be here at Watches and Wonders today. So that's probably a good intro into, can you tell us a little bit about the latest releases from Hublot this year? It's a wide question, I know, but just in your own words, your interpretation, how would you sum up the releases of the novelties?
Yeah, Hublot, which always tries to be creative, innovative in everything that we do, and that corresponds to our philosophy, which is the art of fusion, which is really connecting the tradition of the watch industry, of course, together with innovation. So how can we do it? We can do it through materials. We are the master of materials.
Yes.
We can do it through design, and we can do it through the movements as well. So that's our three pillars of development. And this year at Watches and Wonders 2024, we have materials, of course, sapphire in particular. I think we are the leader of making sapphire watches in our industry. We launched our first sapphire watch, it was 2016, so 8 years ago. And this year we come with a new color of sapphire, which is a water blue sapphire that has been, every color takes more or less 2 to 3 years of development to create a new color, because it's very complicated, of course, with the sapphire. And we have put this new material into a masterpiece movement, the MP11, which is 14 days power reserve with vertical barrels at 6 o'clock. So it's a complication for us. It's not a tourbillon, but it's a complicated watch, and this is one of the highlights, for instance.
It's a beautiful piece, that one, actually, and we'll be seeing it right after this interview. So I'm looking forward to getting it into our hands. And I suppose on that note, the material science is a big thing for Hublot. And one of the pieces that caught my eye was the Big Bang Unico in orange ceramic. It's a bright, colourful piece. It looks amazing. Well, there's two questions in that. One, why orange? And two, how hard is it to perfect that process of getting that colour in that ceramic?
Yes, again, in ceramic, we believe we are leaders as well in producing this specific material that today I would say has become a standard in the watch industry, at least the black ceramic, which is, let's say, the standard color of the ceramic, which is used by many other brands. But I think Hublot has brought the ceramic in the high-end segment of our industry. And to differentiate ourselves, again, we have tried to create colors. And the difficulty in colors is to come with vivid colors. And we have been the first brand to come with the vivid red. The first color was red a few years ago. Why it's so difficult? Because the ceramic has to go into an oven at very high temperature under pressure. So the trick or the special recipe is to manage the right temperature with the right pressure to keep the pigments of the colors not burned by the oven, by the heat of the oven. So that's why I think we have found and we have patented the industrial process for the vivid red, that I would say after it's more or less the same vivid yellow. We've been able to do vivid yellow, and then vivid orange came later. But I would say our first objective was to do the vivid red, because the red is the most complicated color to do in ceramic. Orange is also difficult, but the biggest challenge we had is on the red. But this year, the orange, because we believe that it's an evolution, an extension, let's say, of the red color between yellow and red, and we have this orange.
Yeah, no, it's a stunning piece. And you mentioned material sciences before. Now, things like sapphire, you have done very, very well, and you implemented the new Saxum material as well, which obviously it's not quite sapphire, it's a derivation of using different minerals to create that compound. That took a long time in development. How hard was that how did that come about, the conceptualization of the Saxum? And then the second part of that question is, how hard was it to get that process right and get the clarity in that material that you actually find now in the neon yellow and in the green?
Yes, again, with sapphire, of course, the crystal clear sapphire is let's say, the basic color, even though it's not really a color,
Yeah.
is totally transparent, is crystal clear. So after we said again, we want to go into colors. And in sapphire, we have done the yellow, we have done the blue sapphire, the purple sapphire, but we thought about green, and we tried green sapphire, but the color that came out was really too light,
Right.
not really green, and our chemist engineers said that we should give an evolution in the recipe of the raw materials, but of course it's different than sapphire, so we invented that name Saxum. It comes from us, this name, and there we found that we can have really a strong color, deep color in green, and then in neon yellow as well.
Yeah.
But the green was the main objective,
Yep.
but that's we changed because, as I said, in sapphire the green comes really too light.
And the green is actually a nice deep emerald green as well. You know,
Exactly,
and on
it's
the
an
wrist,
emerald
it
green.
looks.
Yeah.
I've had it on my wrist, and it looks stunning,
Yeah.
and you know, photos don't do it justice. So, no, it's a beautiful material.
Yes.
So, I guess on that note, you know, there's a lot of misconceptions around Hublot, and we've tackled it as a I guess a publisher over recent years. But from your perspective, like, how do you see Hublot as a brand today and moving forward into the future?
You know, Hublot, we're a young brand, so
Yeah.
we're only over 40 years old. But our ambition, our aspiration, is to be part of the strongest brand of our industry. And of course, when we compare ourselves to the strongest brand or the famous brand of our industry, there are brands that have over 200 years of history.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's difficult to compete from that perspective, at least. So for Hublot, we must be different. You know, we must offer something different in our industry. That's why we created this concept of the art of fusion, is really making watches that we respect the tradition. We can make a tourbillon, we can make a mechanical chronograph, we can use traditional materials as well, but we must bring innovation always in everything that we do. That's why we differentiate ourselves. How can we do it? Through materials. We have been the first brand to come with a rubber strap in 1980, together with yellow gold, then ceramic, then colored ceramic, then sapphire, then magic gold, and I think that's why we differentiate ourselves compared to the traditional watch brands. Then we took the movement. We want to be a verticalized manufacturer, but we started from scratch, you know, just 20 years ago. So we cannot create mechanical calibers like this, you know, a mechanical chronograph that we have, our Unico.
Yes.
It has taken us 6-7 years of development, and after we also saw that we had to do a second generation, so it takes time for the complications. The same, so Hublot, we have to be different, you know. And the third, as I said, the design. We have a strong design with the Big Bang, strong identity, which is very important, and we try to innovate also through partnership with art. Our tattoo watches with the Saint-Bleu, or our Murakami watches, or our Samuel Ross watches are really also inspired from not just our industry, but from the art. And I think there again we're different. So, but at the same time, we want to explain to the consumer that Hublot is a strong brand with a lot of watch substance as well, because we have a manufacturer, we are verticalized, not 100%, because it takes years, and now we're building a third facility where we are close to Geneva here in Nyon. So this is a long-term process to really explain and teach and make it happen, that people can say, oh, wow, Hublot is also a verticalized manufacturer. That can be another big brand of our industry.
Yeah, and look, that kind of does answer a question I did have for you, which is around, you know, you don't have the restraint of heritage, and a lot of brands, you know, do, and a lot of brands sort of like leverage their brand on the heritage, but you don't have that, which I think is actually amazing, because it allows you to do incredible pieces like the MP10 here, you know, and that took 5 years in development and to get out, which is why it's the MP10 and not the 16. So like that to me is incredible, and as a brand, it's brave to sort of go ahead and do that. So I guess, you know, it's a commitment to yourself and the team that you have over here that you are, you know, doing those things, actually sort of being different in the industry that sometimes can be a little bit the same, which I think is fantastic.
Absolutely, you're right.
And you touched on the Unico 2 movement before in the big banks, the Hublot 1280. Is there any? It's one of the best flyback chronograph movements I've actually used, and I've always said this. It feels so great to actually use. That feel of the pushes. It's smooth. There's no lag. It's brilliant. Is there any plans to roll that out or iterations of that out into other models across the range, or as you said, it's an iterative process that takes a long time?
Yes, I think at Hublot we have created this chronograph, and again we try to bring some fusion in it by putting the chronograph mechanism on the dial side instead of being under. So that's why we work really on open dials, because we believe that the movement is part also of the design of the watch. It should be shown. Is the heart, is the soul of a mechanical watch, so it should be shown as well. That's our philosophy, and again to be different. And we have the Big Bang collection, which is our iconic collection, very bold, very strong identity, and we have this classic fusion collection, which is more inspired by the first watch that was created in the 80s, which is more elegant, more sport chic, always having this identity of the portal with the screws. And in this collection today, we are using movements that we purchase, because we are not able to produce 100% of our movement in-house. It takes years to be able to do that. So now we are more or less at 30%, but we want to do more in the next 10 years. So probably we will use also the Unico movement in this classic fusion. And technically we believe that the Unico movement should go in every collection that we have.
Yeah. And you're saying obviously it takes a long time. Just to give, I guess, people an idea of how long it takes to develop stuff as you're moving forward, over the next 10 years, from your perspective, where would you see your manufacturing process within the movements be in terms of percentage of your integration? Like, would it be 50%, 60%? You're at 30% now?
Yeah, one thing that also I must add is that we're part of the group LVMH, as you know, and we have 3 brands in the watch division, and we are using also Zenith movement, which is a manufacturer since many years, and they have a great movement which is called El Primero, that we have Hublotized and we are using in our spirit of Big Bang. So the idea, we consider Zenith movement as manufacturer movement, more group, but Hublotized, so it means that we will use them as well. So if I consider both, the idea is to go to 75% in the next 10 years.
Yep. And we've got drums in the background.
That's the official opening.
Sounds like the official opening is happening.
Of the Watches and Wonders.
All right. Look, I think we'll probably have to wrap it up there, given that the official opening, and you need to get to the official opening. So I will not take up any more of your time, but it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much. And we'll see you later on.